All right. June 12th, 2026, Friday, London Open session. Let's go. Right, so right away we'll need a little bit of a cleanup. Here. The draw on liquidity was reached yesterday. This was used. This. Right. All right, Nasdaq daily chart. That was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday today. We are in close proximity to this bearish fair value gap on the daily chart. And currently the buy side liquidity resides above this high here on the upside. On the downside, there is a small little volume imbalance here on the daily chart. Small little volume imbalance down there. Besides that, nothing really else. Right, so 50-minute chart. We've traded to this last SEBI. Here. It was a higher high, this last CB. Now price is having some measure of retracement lower. Does it suggest it turn around in here and will go lower completely? I'm not sure at this moment. I'm not sure. There's still portion left inside of it. But yeah, definitely this inversion for value gap here on 50-minute, I'll be interested to see how price will deliver around it, whether it offers any support discount sensitivity. We left quite smooth equal highs here all together as a buy side liquidity pool. That's pretty smooth. On the downside, taking this old low there. On the downside, sell side that I would like would be here. That's quite far still. MES daily chart. Let's see what do we have here. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Like a lot of movement back and forth in the same type of range. Good morning, don't you, Christian? Hello. On ES, we are trading around this volume imbalance here. We've taken buy side there, and the buy side will or resides here, I believe, at this moment. ES made a lower low, so SMT on the lows with NQ, and it's retracing back down. So this weak quadrants could or should act as a discount and or this volume imbalance potentially. Yeah, the buy side is still very smooth. That's the previous day's high. It was swept very shallowly during the Asia, but that's not enough as a run on liquidity. This sells the idea that this is actually ratifical highs resistance for retail. Let me clear up some lines here that are no longer useful. Alright, so this is the daily volume balance here. So that's the key primary PDRA that we will be working with. Based on 15-minute, and we have this large BC right there. But do I want the price to go all the way down there to potentially clean up the buy side? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. I would say that's like I would prefer to see it stay open for the majority of the time. So I wouldn't say this is something that we need to come back for right now. But yeah, I like the buy side on ES a little bit more here. I like how it took the relative close sell side, old low sell side into this daily discount array. There's nothing in here really besides this large BC. That's on 5 minutes, it's even slightly larger. But again, I don't necessarily think we need to come back for it at this moment. And I view this rather as a measure of strength that is behind the marketplace. So we could potentially expect another round higher. We have very smooth price and liquidity here and here on a minor basis. Price it here very, very smooth. Yep. No SMT on the lows as it is so far. It's pretty symmetrical. And the dollar index under pressure. I was initially expecting it to run higher towards the buy side. It started well, but then after taking the buy side, it completely folded and around those relatively lows. So now it's kind of like a make or break type of position there. All right. All right. So nonetheless, my stand for this session is favoring higher prices. And I'm interested to see how the discount race will be behaving for the majority of the time. And that's kind of what I'm thinking. And we'll see. We'll see how it goes after all. Yeah, so that was that hourly CB that price reached on ES there, took the buy side. And now it's kind of like consolidating. That's some sort of like a bull flag that is kind of folding here. There is this inefficiency here inside of the breaker. Yep. Good morning, Sonia. Hello. Hello. All right, this little inefficiency here on Nasdaq. Bullish for value gap. On ES, I really do like the breaker. I mean, this for value gap that's linked to the breaker as inversion. It sounds the best, I would say, near term. So yeah, let's add this one here. This is it, and this is like my threshold initially to see whether price can turn around and potentially start moving higher. Potentially, because I don't know, obviously, and yeah, there is some medium impact news at 10 a.m. suggesting that the 10 to 11 morning session silver bullet might be interesting. But let's see, let's watch what this session will actually present after all. What about SpaceX IPO? I mean, to be honest, quite frankly, I pay no mind to it. I'm not necessarily interested. But that's just me. I'm not hating it or anything like that. All right. So going to the 3 a.m., we've taken some sell set already. Relative equal lows here. Relative equal lows here. This old low here. And we are still in somewhat of a close proximity to it. Again, on the downside, right now we are inside this daily volume imbalance. These ones are a little bit flexible, so we could trade outside of it to this fair value gap here and still potentially see it act bullishly. But I'll be watching the low, the consecutive encroachment, and the high of this daily PD array. Willing to see how it will deliver out of that. So far we trade initially here into the upper half, perfectly respecting that, and price rallied higher, couldn't overtake those relative equal highs, and it folded lower. Now taking the sell side here below this low and diving into the lower half of it, and now even trading slightly outside of it. So this 15-minute bullish inversion fair value gap is now definitely in the cards and in the play. I like the delivery of this little fair value gap in here, because it delivered so well on the downside. Whenever the price would go above it, I would see it as a high probability bullish inversion fair value gap. Also, if you pay attention you will notice that this little fair value gap here at 2:52 a.m. New York time lays over top of the consecutive encroachment of this daily PD array. So that's like a quadrant that the PD array lays on top of. So that makes it also a high probability PD array by definition. So taking into consideration the fact or the idea that we could maybe see some potential run higher, nonetheless, rather than just folding lower completely. If that's the case, that's fine. I will not participate. But if we start gaining some ground back, this area in here will have my vast interest to see whether it can act as a bullish inversion for value gap then. So let's see if that will be the case at any point of time, and how it will be delivering here. So Nasdaq also making lower lows here. Everything looks very symmetrical, very logical. Respective inefficiency on Nasdaq. The 252 fair value gap worked very well on Nasdaq too. Repelled price lower. So the same idea. Basically same idea there. But they went below this daily volume balance. The body is respecting the low of it short term. And we are in close proximity to this bullish inversion for value gap that I personally assume or suspect that should act as a discount array for the price to potentially send us higher. If we are gonna go higher during this session, I would say this PD array is the way to go, to be used. So trade lower down into it first and then start rallying higher. That would make sense. But yeah, we'll see what we get. If we can't even reach down into it by any means, and we fail completely, that would also be indication of some underlying strength on the side of this market, but that's still pretty early into the session. That was the initial poke lower. So now everyone wants to be short, I believe. So few lower lows and we could be turning around. And that would be somewhat interesting. Another CB at 303. Let's see how we deal around it there. All right, slowing down a little bit here. So this is the same busy on Nasdaq. That if I'm wrong about higher prices or potential continuation near term, then this would be the drawn NQ. But yeah, let's see if I'm wrong in the first place. Right, so far we traded outside of this daily volume imbalance, put or placed a few bodies underneath it, and now we are trading back into it. If it's actually very bearish now, very weak, price should have or should see problems in trading back into the upper half of this inefficiency. If we rip right on through it higher into the upper half with no problems whatsoever, then that's not necessarily a bearish signature that we went below it. Let's see. So far we trade outside of it, back into the SIB here, and as long as we are not touching the consecutive encroachment with it, that might be a little bit suspect for continuation lower. Let's see. Yeah, so the hypothetical idea using this as inversion would be something like this. Yeah, around five candle stop loss, aiming for 10, way before the buy side ever taken out. So yeah, I think that would make like a reasonable sense. But yeah, we would need to go first above it, and then come back into it, use it as discount array, a little bit of wiggle room, and that would be my expectation. But let's see if we can even do that, because if that never happens, then that wouldn't even be a consideration. But yeah, currently dealing inside of this little SIB here near the low of this volume imbalance from the daily chart, and I want to see whether it proves itself as still bearish, and if that's the case, it should be running lower quickly, attacking this low very shortly, following the bearish order flow that it's under currently. All right, so we are attacking this short-term low here off of this CB. So nicely trade up into it. It wicked above it, that's fine. Body stay inside of it. Then touch the high. It rolled over lower, made a lower low, and now I'm watching this larger 15-minute bullish inversion for value gap as a potential key level to turn the price around. That's how I'm thinking about it. And because this CB delivered also pretty nicely, because it's also linked to the low of this volume imbalance here, if you would go above this one here first, that could act as a bullish inversion for value gap too. So let's see. So far we are screaming lower, diving deeper below this low, and I want to see whether we can touch, and if yes, how deep inside of it we can go. By the way, I want to add the quadrants to it. All right. So now I'm having all of the specific levels that could or should show me any signs of turning around. Let's see. Any trade into the upper half of it, down to the consecutive encroachment and showing displacement higher and starting running higher, that's very bullish. So yeah, the majority of the buy side liquidity right now will rest above this high here. Why? Because we moved lower in a more pronounced manner. We've taken sell side here and many lower lows. So the majority of sell stops will be above this high. Plus there is a lot of this trend line phantom type of sell side liquidity, I mean buy side liquidity, that's resting above those, you know, trend line type of liquidity. Right, so we are diving into this 15-minute bullish inversion for value gap as a potential discount array. Many lower lows along the way, like after we've taken this odd low here, lower low, lower low, lower low. So really stabbing into the sell side, attacking it aggressively, constantly. And now first trade down into this 15-minute bullish inversion for value gap. The wick stabbed into it, couldn't reach the upper quadrant, and the body stayed above the high. That's technically a pretty bullish signature here. I mean, it's suggesting bullish order flow is coming. Obviously, that's not enough to say that this should now rip higher, but this would be like early signs of potential turnaround. So let's see. Let's study that. Still, these two fair value gaps are my potential inversion fair value gaps. If we can go above them. Other than that, there is really nothing else to work with. Alright, so first touch, the bodies are not willing to be even placed at the high of this, and we are showing some turnaround here. That's what I like to see though. Alright, so we are definitely showing some measure of turnaround here. After we traded to this bullish inversion fair value gap on 15-minute. Alright. So yeah, again, my idea is if we can go above on a closing basis, either this CB, it should act as a bullish inversion fair value gap, or this CB, the same idea basically, would be utilized. And then aiming ideally for this buy set here, but I would prefer to get out ahead of it. And yeah, this type of idea would give me like a reasonable exit ahead of the actual or potential draw on liquidity then. So let's see 323. Initially we started off the gate lower, making lower low, lower low, lower low into the discount array. So far respected it perfectly, showing bullish order flow is coming. So now if you can start flipping, turning around and using the CBs as bullish inversion for value gaps, that should send price higher. So yeah, potential two opportunities here. Either this one, I will look for return, or if we go above this one, I will look there. So yeah, I mean the good part about this is that if it's still like bearish, if it's still meant to go lower and explore lower, then it shouldn't just it should just not give me the close above this and just keep on going. That would be a sign that it's really heavy at the moment. So I'm also trying to filter out a lot of things here. But yeah, this slide looks like just too easy for the sentiment to flip bearish and yeah, potentially send it. All right, so the 330, we are approaching also the 330, and that's a key moment or key time for the long open silver bullet usually. And that's like the also furthermore the time where or when turning points can happen, when like further expansions are likely to be created. So I'll be closely watching if we can line up with the time 330 or slightly after it, and price, that would mean this bullish inversion for value gap. But for this to happen, we need to close above it first. No close, no entry. So far it looks like we traded back into the CB here. It acts as a bearish CB still because we didn't went above it yet, and the low of this volume imbalance on the daily chart. Both are showing some measure of respect with the bodies. Now price is turning around. So if it's bearish, this is the time and the moment for it to aggressively attack this short-term low here, and then likely dive deeper into this bullish inversion for value gap. All right, so far not being able to run for this low, I view this as bullish. So if it violates this CB, closes above it, then I'm suspecting that this was the turn and that we might or can see expansion higher. So let's see. Well, by the way, I'm experiencing some internet issues at the moment, which is admittedly annoying, but not much I can do about it at the time. So sorry for that, but yeah, gotta endure it. Well, I don't know what's going on, but I'm completely losing my connection. Well. I mean, it's bad. Well, I don't know. Scheiße. Well, I mean, I'm aware of that issue with the connection and probably poor quality of the stream. I mean, that's like the first time it's so prolonged in time. It happened from time to time to me, but yeah. Hopefully it will get better. It should be better now because it's showing that the connection is strong. But yeah. Annoying issue. Annoying issue. Throwing me a little bit off guard, but alright. Alright, so interesting how we are consolidating between those VD arrays. Just marking time, not much behind that. So yeah, bulking up a little bit of strength here above this and closing above this would be interesting nonetheless. Yeah, I mean it seems quite logical to see a turnaround here according to the time and price and where we are overall. So we'll see. Tapping back into the SIBI again. So far price traded up into it here but failed to make a meaningful sell-off. It couldn't attack this low but by any means. And now we are back again into trading into it. So let's see if we can close above it. If that's the case, let's see if we can use it as a bullish inversion for value gap then. So yeah, definitely approaching to potentially close above it. 35 seconds now to go, and this candle will or should give a tell. Trading and closing right away above this higher one is fine, but the stop loss would need to cover potential return back to the lower one, I assume. Well, let's see, but yeah, the displacement here, that's, in my opinion, just telling that we made a turnaround. All right, so we did close above it. I'm placing the limit order right there at the high of this. So any return into it, I'll be expected to getting long. All right, so it formed also a busy here over top of this inversion for value gap. That's good. And now it's probably the key candle, maybe the next one, whether I will get filled or not. All right, so it did fill me here. It traded to the busy inversion for value gap, closed above the consecutive encroachment here. So if it's good, it's good. If not, then I will certainly find out rather quickly. But yeah, now the idea is to attack the buy side here, but my exit is ahead of that. So technically, this is what I was looking for. So let's see if we can deliver that. So now setting the potential break-even point, which is 75% from the entry to the target. And in this case, it will be here. So if price goes up there, then I'm covering my stop loss to break even. All right, very nice reaction off of this inversion for value gap here so far. I like to see large up candles here a lot. All right, so now we should be trading above this higher one, and it should also be another line in the sand for potential support if you can close above it. So that's the next little thing that I want to see. And the overall, as long as we are not closing below this inversion fair value gap, then everything looks pretty reasonable. All right. All right. I like also how it left a portion open here on this busy. That's very, very nice to see. And now we are rallying above this higher inversion fair value gap. So if we can close above it, and it looks like we just did exactly. So now this should also be acting as a measure of support. But because we already used this lower one, I wouldn't require this one to be touched at all. If it does go into it, then preferably it shows respect. But if it doesn't go to it at all, that's completely reasonable, I would say. All right, touching to the high, it should be sensitive and sending price to the upside. There is a nice little pool of relative equal highs here. So looking at this particular level here on like 5-second chart, that would look like a very clean and smooth area in price. And this is, I mean, my target is ahead of that, so that's actually very good, I would say. But unless it's using this as a bullish inversion for value gap, that's very good here. Very, very good. So all of this looks like it really was scooping the sell side, scooping sell side, taking sell side. Bullish order flow came in here. I said at this candle, I said the bullish order flow is potentially coming in, and then price turned around and started delivering higher off of this inversion and this inversion that were here way before. Will it still deliver to the target? I don't know. We'll see. But this move already so far is quite promising. Nice stretching higher. So now preferably I would like to see price leave this daily volume balance, not show any resistance at the high of it. Just leave it to the upside and start seeking the buy side there. That would be like the idea. So pretty close to the break-even price. So I'm watching that. If we can tap into this level, then I move my stop loss to break even, and then this becomes basically a free trade at that moment, and a very comfortable spot to be in. Right now it's still uncertain. It looks very good though, but obviously it's still uncertain. And therefore we'll see. All right, so digging above this high. So far, the bodies are still kind of respecting it. I'm not necessarily a fan of that. I'm looking for the price to just offer some measure of uh, reaction outside of it. Turning around here would be a little bit concerning, but there is a small little inefficiency in here that it trades into it. That's fine. If you can reject, that's all good. Very close to the break-even price too. So yeah, I mean, now is the waiting time, waiting portion. The work was already done, and it's on the market side whether it delivers or not. That's less relevant. Um, but yeah. All right, looks like it wants to come back to this bullish inversion for value gap here. So let's see if it will do so. I'm a little bit concerned about these closing prices here at the high, just a little bit, because that could still be violated. I would say reasonably well, but yeah. So far, as long as we stay above this one and this one, everything should look higher. Right, very nice. It couldn't even reach the inversion for value gap here. That's very good. Should be striking higher, very close to the break-even price. Well, my connection is playing with me again, unfortunately. I just hope that I can bring this one to the end and reset the router. All right, very close, hanging around the break-even price. The target is technically in striking distance too. Yeah, Nasdaq following up also. It looks all good, I would say. It's really teasing me with these closing prices at the high of this volume imbalance here. All right. So not only I'm fighting the market, but I'm also fighting my internet connection here, hoping that it will withstand the storm. All right, so we are in a very close proximity to the break-even price right here, but still playing around a little bit. Spending quite some time in here. Not necessarily a fan of that. But yeah, that's just the way it goes here. All right, so we are approaching the break-even price here with this. Confirm. So yeah, at this moment the position is secured. Exactly, so the commissions are covered. And yeah, now we are in the striking zone. So yeah, if it's good, it should just keep on going and fill my limit order. If it's not, then obviously it will come back for me. But yeah, I mean the risk is completely removed. Therefore, this position is very, very good and comfortable to be in at this moment, and I can be really indifferent to the outcome. There we go. There we go. Nice. Smash higher, reach the buy set. I mean, they attacked the buy set that I mentioned right away. So yeah, because my target, I mean, my limit order was ahead of that, I was just having an easy time getting filled. But nonetheless, this was the delivery here. Well, well, well. Well, not gonna lie, that feels good because it's Friday and I'll be starting the weekend earlier. That's awesome. But yeah, nonetheless, pretty nice delivery here. Solid read on the price, identifying the discount array that it can likely turn at, and then identifying the liquidity pool or pools that it will be drawing back into. 2 fair value gaps, inversion fair value gaps outlined ahead of time, like way ahead of time, and clear idea which one I will use and when, and it delivered. So yeah, let's add the win, the W, to the counter. 9 wins, 12 losses, 1 break even. These are the stats so far for this session. And this was week 5, I believe. That was the 5th week of this whole endeavor. So yeah, nonetheless. Yeah, kudos to you guys for staying with me throughout this session. Thanks, Sonia. Kudos to you for being in the stream again. And I wish you guys a pleasant weekend and see you on Monday. London Open session, as always. Bye bye.